Welcome to Neon Cobra. Let's kick into it. So this how-to video is going to be around moving fabric workspaces between capacities. And specifically where we'll probably see this used more often is moving from a trial fabric capacity into a paid version. So a lot of times what we'll find is organizations will start the trial capacity, they'll start building out pipelines and flows, really like the technology, and then the MSP is trying to figure out, well, how do I capture this? How do I, take control? And how do I make sure it's secure? So the first step is really ensuring you have an Azure plan subscription set up. This is going to be your billing container, and we've talked about it in numerous other videos, but it's essentially your key into Azure. So you're going to want to make sure that that is set up with your distributor of choice ahead of time, because if you go forward with this through other means, it may end up on a client credit card direct with Microsoft, and then you have no way to really capture that growth, short of, again, migrating the workspace again in the future. So we'll just kind of skip that step and make sure that you've got your Azure plan in place. The second thing you need to do is actually come in and create your fabric capacity. So I've got two fabric capacities here for the sake of this example, but really to get started, you would choose create, and then you choose your subscriptions, name it, similar to how you would create resources. Now, as far as sizing the fabric capacity, that's a whole other video. And really what you'll probably want to do is look at the fabric usage based on the trial, and it'll probably give you a rough idea where you need to start. Now, the good news about the capacity is it is flexible. So you can start with an F to the absolute bottom and then scale up and down as you need to. And then additionally, once you've kind of locked things in, you have the opportunity to use reserved instances or reserve individual capacity units. And that's, again, another video, but very similar to reservations, which I'll link at the end. So what you need to be aware of when you're creating these fabric capacities is the regions are important, right? If you've got a fabric trial capacity in a specific region, you probably want to match that capacity region as well, just to make sure all feature sets and everything are available. But you do still want to make sure the region is as close to you as possible. So depending on what you're looking at in scope and scale, that's something you may have to take into account. But let's say in this case, I have two fabric capacities, right? I've got my test fabric ISC team, which is my source fabric capacity. We'll consider that the trial. And then the destination is the trial fabric example. So this is where I'm going to move my subscription to. So once you have the capacity, essentially consider this the engine, the compute that's going to run the whole fabric instance and the workspace. Where we're going to do our work is actually under the app.fabric.microsoft.com window. And your client, if they've been working in Fabric, is probably very familiar with this. So you are going to require some form of administrative rights. You're going to need, global admin, power admin, or granted access to the workspace itself. So if you don't have initial access, you can have your client go in to manage access and add you in as an admin. But once you are there and you've identified your workspace, and if you're not sure where to go, you can click on Workspaces and you will see the workspaces you have allocated to you. And once you're in there on the top, you will have Workspace Settings. When you expand this out, there's going to be a couple of different options. Now, because Fabric is a little bit of Power BI, a little bit of data pipelines and things like that, there's going to be a lot of different information in here. But specifically for the focus of this video, we're looking to assign from one trial or from one capacity to another, and simulating specifically from a trial capacity to a full paid capacity. So when you open this up, you're going to select License Info, the little diamond at the top. And you're going to see the current licensing configuration. Now, what we're going to see in here is it's assigned to a test fabric ISC, but you would likely see a trial capacity F64 and then the region you've chosen. You're going to choose Edit in this case, which will bring you to this window here. We will scroll down and you're going to choose the capacity you want to move it to. So this, again, will depend on the capacity access and what it's able to get to, but you should see from your trial capacity the ability to go to a new one here. I'm just going to give this a quick refresh just to make sure it does see the new capacity. There can be a little delay in time before it does show up in here. And I just created it about 5 minutes ago, so we're going to see if we can get it to populate. All right, so we have the new license info being generated. We'll choose Edit, and under Fabric Capacity, there's our trial fabric examples. That is the new capacity I just created. So if you're not seeing it immediately, just refresh the page. Once we choose that and we select the license, all workspaces, all workflows, everything will be maintained. It really just changes the billing model for this. So if you're in an F64 trial and it's coming up to expiry, or like you're convinced that like this is what we want to do, we definitely don't want to have any sort of interruptions. You can be forward planning with this and then lock in to a paid instance so you don't accidentally have it expire down the road. So as you need to make any sort of edits and adjustments to the capacity, let's say you need more compute, more throughput, you would come back to the Azure side, and this is where you would edit your trial capacities. Very similar to how you would change size on a virtual machine. You come into change, you choose the new capacity type, and you resize. Now, there's a bunch of additional settings that we won't really cover in this session, but there is the ability to pause and resume capacity depending on requirements. And there are some impacts and changes to your workflow of what that might look like, but maybe we'll save that for a future video. So again, this is really to change between workspaces, more predominantly used for moving from trials to full versions. And with that, we'll catch you next time.